everyone, and welcome back to What's on My Bookcase. These are some of my favorite little books that I have over there on my bookcase, and I don't think I have shown off but maybe one of them before because it's the art supplies one, and this one is Ingredients of Creativity art supplies, because this is the one I bought at full price, and then they were moving warehouses from wherever they housed them to wherever they were going to house them, and they had this scratch and dent sale, which I've never seen them run a scratch and dent sale before, but normally these are, I want to say in the $45 or $50 range, but in the scratch and dent sale they were like $20. It was ridiculous how cheap they were for what these are. So I thought I would show you the ones that I got. They didn't run all of them in there. And this is their little encyclopedia of beautiful artsy craftsy things. And the lady that runs this stuff just curates the most gorgeous books, and I thought we would just look at them. So my very favorite one, and the first one that I got, let me just move these where the camera can stay focused for us, was this art supplies one, because more than anything I kind of want in my own photography stuff, like a whole collection of just beautiful art supply photos. And I do have quite a few, but I think I could take art supply photos like my entire life and just have like this gigantic portfolio of art supply photos and never get tired of taking pictures of beautiful bright colored art supplies. And so I initially bought this book when I was doing the photo workshops and stuff, so I've had this for a while. And this book is different artists and their favorite art supplies basically, and I just find it super inspiring to look at the artwork and the supplies and the photos and be inspired by the different things that different artists love to use and make their art with. And you can just see the photography is just beautiful. It's very inspiring. Now I can look through this and get ideas, and maybe there's art supplies in here that I love, like the art graph, and maybe there's different ways that I could be using those. The colors are inspiring. Small pieces of artwork are inspiring. So it's just one of those books that you can kind of sit out on your porch and just kind of flip through and enjoy the different things that they have curated for this gorgeous book. So yeah, this one is one of my favorite out of all of them because it is dear to my heart with the art supplies. And they're so thick and they're beautiful, and there's good information, and there's some supply infos and artist infos and artist pictures. And this is that place in Paris. I recognize it. The place that makes the pastels, and the two ladies that make them. It's amazing. The La Maison du Pastel in, I'm sure I said that wrong because it didn't have a lovely French accent going with that, but it's only open like a couple hours a week, and they make a bazillion colors, and some of them are some legacy recipes and stuff. And I just find things like this completely fascinating. How do they make it? What is their process? Who are the people behind the brand? And this brand stays alive because two ladies are that passionate about it. I love that. And so this is just the most, oh, there's the label. Apparently I've tore it. This is just the most inspiring book. And oh my gosh, that one right there, look at that. You know, if you've seen my little studio tours, I'm obsessed with little vials of pigments. Look how gorgeous that is. I mean, really, if I just took all pictures of vials of pigment, I would probably be super happy with my art photos that I take. So yeah, this one of my favorite. This one is the Art Supplies Encyclopedia by Uppercase magazine. So I love that. They do like random printings of it. Like once they run out, they run out, and sometimes they come back and do a second printing, and sometimes they don't. So if you ever are on there and you see something that you think looks kind of interesting, you better buy it when you see it, because once they're gone, they may be gone. This one is Art, Design, and Ephemera, the Botanica collection. So obviously that's going to be about plants and flowers, and all the other things that I like to photograph is flowers, and so I love that. And again, super inspiring with the different kind of vintage patterns and artists and different types of flowers. Look at that. Something like that, I might see that and be totally inspired by that color palette, and it just might take me off in a whole new direction of things that I want to create. And so that's why I love looking at things like this. You just never know where that inspiration is going to take you. This is gorgeous. This is like old pottery and old plates and china and stuff. How cool is that? That's totally cool. Like, now I want one of those. And you'll see something new. Look at that beautiful jewelry. Every time you flip through one of these books, something new will come out at you. Because usually when I'm looking, I may have something in my mind that I'm looking for, or something might jump off the page at me. And 6 months from now, when I come back to look at these, something else is going to jump off the page at me and be inspiring to me. So these are books that I could look at over and over and over again. So this is the Botanica one. And it's all about flowers and botanical things and seeds and ephemera, and I love that one. Okay, and we got Rag and Pulp, Creativity with Paper, which I love because now I have my current obsession of making books out of beautiful papers. Look how pretty that is right there. Just a picture of that book. The Encyclopedia of Inspiration is what this little series is. But now, you know, I like fiber arts. I like making my own art journals with my own paper, my own papers that I love in them. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, it's a beautiful like book cover with the lovely deckled edge paper in it. Look how gorgeous that is. Totally inspiring. Now I want to go make a book. You can see, you know, when you're looking at these different handmade papers and just some good ideas, making your own box to put the book in, different bookmaking stuff that's maybe vintage. Oh, look at these. Like, this is probably the book I'm going to take after I turn the camera off and go and look at and appreciate again, because I've always been a little bit into the fiber arts, and I can sew, and my grandmother was like a master sewer. She was amazing, and it was so much fun to play around in her sewing room when I was a kid. But I've always been fascinated with paper making and handmade papers and painting on paper and doing art on specialty papers and experimenting with the different papers and just seeing like what can we create. And I'm now making my own art journals and then painting in the art journals. I mean, the whole book itself then is a piece of art, and that idea really fascinates me because it's not my goal to sell art, but it is my goal to show up and create. So you got to figure out what is your reason for creating, what's going to get you to show up and paint on a regular basis or create on a regular basis. Because if I don't have a reason, I hadn't figured out what my reason is, then I'm just gonna think, why bother? Which I've done many times. And then, you know, starting this YouTube channel and making art workshops and photography workshops, that kind of gave me the purpose and the permission that I needed to give myself to be able to stop and study things and deep dive into stuff and make a whole class or workshop out of whatever it is I discovered as I was deep diving into things. And so that ended up being my reason and purpose for showing up. And then I get excited to brainstorm new stuff and try new color palettes and try new papers and look at different books for inspiration, because now I've got a purpose and a goal in the end of how I could use that information in my creativity and the art that I create. Look how beautiful these are. Like, this one just might go downstairs with me to the porch after this video. I feel so inspired again. And I need to be inspired. I need to come up with whatever my next class is going to be. I love thinking about what's the next thing. Look how gorgeous that is. That's what I was looking for. Beautiful spine on those. Lovely. Okay, so this is a really good one if you're interested in anything paper and pulp, rag and pulp. Okay, so that's a good one. I like that one. Okay, here we go. Yarn, thread, and string. Again, I don't really care to sew, like clothing and stuff. I already know that that's not my favorite thing to do. But I do love fiber arts, and I would love to have this right here. Just send that one to me. It's like a wall hanging that they created with different yarns and threads. That's gorgeous, and so totally inspired by anything fabric-y in ways that don't involve me trying to make a shirt. I'm trying to do it somehow in my art. How can I work these things into my daily life and enjoy them? Weaving, I could totally do the weaving. I did like miniature weaving things when I was younger, but that could be like the next obsession, is the weaving and the creating. So I do love fibers and threads and buttons. I like the great big buttons. I went to the Joann, because this right here is my very favorite button in all the different colors. The great big, I mean, it's gigantic. It's about 2.5 inches probably. Yeah, 2.5 inches. It's the biggest button ever with a ceramic kind of top. And those came from Joann Fabrics. And they're going out of, I think they're going out of business. They've declared bankruptcy a couple times now in the past year, and they just can't seem to get their act together. And now when you go in their stores, they're kind of dirty and yucky. And I don't think they sweep anymore. But I went the other day because I was like, oh no, they've declared bankruptcy again, and I need to go and buy all those buttons in the different colors that they offer, so that for the next 20 art journals that I do, I'll have a button for the cover. It may not be 20, but I'm just saying, I thought I needed to go get one of every color at least that they offered, so I had choices with the next books that I create. And so, yeah, if you like those big buttons, go hit a Joann's and see if they've got any left and grab them, because I don't think we're going to be able to get them too much longer, and I definitely know that I want to be using those for a while. Look at that super fun and creative color wheel. Totally inspiring. I'm all about some color wheels and some color charts lately, and so I feel like a new project coming. It's coming to me. It hasn't like solidified. The idea hasn't completely solidified itself, but I feel something coming. And I don't know if that's a class or if that's some YouTube video series. I don't know, but I got some, if I feel it coming, it's like at the very, almost there at the front of my brain. I hadn't quite grasped what it's going to be yet. So yeah, just beautiful, beautiful books. Okay, so I love that one. Yarn, thread, and string. Okay, ephemera. Oh, I love some ephemera. So this is perfect for, you know, all the vintagey things that came before us. Look at that. Old Valentine's Day cards, which I don't know if this says anything about how old I am, but I think we traded ones that looked similar to that when I was a kid. And that's probably even older than I was a kid, so I'm sure it was like reprints of the Valentines, but I've had Valentines that look kind of like that we traded. Okay, so I've always wanted one of these chests, you know, like a map chest where they've got all the little drawers that you pull out. Man, those are hard to come by, number one. Look at there, just got pulled out. And number two, they're so super expensive. And number three, they're gigantic. Like, you need a space for that to actually fit. And now I live in a condo, so I'm kind of limited in my space, and I have to decide, like, if something comes in, something else has got to go. Because I know I hoard art supplies, but my house is fairly tidy, and my art room stays pretty tidy because I cannot operate in a mess. Like, if I've got stuff hoarded everywhere and piles of things all around, and I feel like it's kind of dirty and chaotic, and like a little hurricane came through here, I have to stop everything I'm doing and do a little cleanup. I can't operate in the chaos and have my creativity do what I needed to do. So everything stays pretty tidy, and I clean up in between projects so that everything is fresh and ready for the next project to come out. Yeah, look at all these. Just vintage, beautiful vintagey tins and buttons and boxes and old tags and cards and all the yummy stuff that came before us. I love it. And I love these that are kind of like color coded by season. Most of these kind of things you can find, it's like searching out at the antique market, on Etsy or eBay. You're just looking for some vintage ephemera. You might too could get some that have been digitized, and people are selling little, packets of ephemera that you could print out, which then you're not destroying like an original thing. You can print it out and tear it up, and you don't feel kind of guilty about it, because sometimes it's hard to tear up something that's 200 years old. But if you made a copy of it and printed it out, you could definitely tear it up 100 times then. I loved paper dolls when I was a kid. So those are super fun. I wish I still had some of the paper doll books that I had. I randomly go through spurts in my life where I just get rid of everything and do a good clean out. And now sometimes I think, why did I get rid of that? Somebody needs to come and stop me on some of the ones that are more amazing. I've got a whole set of little cards or something that look like these little ladies. I used to love costumes and stuff, so that's right up my alley and stuff. Ooh, look at that paper doll. Oh, I love that right there. That makes me want to do some paper dolls with some ephemera as the outfit. Very creative. See how many good ideas you get just by flipping through a book like this and admiring all the fun things that are in there. I mean, really, if you had more than one of this book could be your ephemera. You could tear this book up. Look how beautiful these are. Old patterns. I like vintage patterns like that. I wish now that I had all the vintage patterns that were in my grandmother's sewing room. I didn't appreciate that stuff when I was younger. I appreciate it now, and now I don't have the opportunity to have it. Okay. Vintage life, aesthetics, obsessions, and artistic pursuits. Vintage life, living in the past. So that's super fun. Whatever ones were in that little scratch and dent, I was like, yes please, I'll take that too. Look at these Santas. So I live near an antique market, and for some reason this year there were a couple booths that had all these gigantic yard art kind of Santas, great big plasticky Santas from like the 60s and 50s that were in a remarkably good shape. And I thought, because I live in a condo community, little townhomes, I thought, how mad would my neighbors be if I had some plastic 1960s Santas out on my front lawn? Look at these fun little egg cups. See, stuff like this is just fun. It brings back my grandmother made all these crochet things like this. That's funny. Just brings back such good memories, or things that I remember seeing in grandparents' houses when I was a kid, or maybe some things that I could look out for. Look at that, pretty cuffs with vintage looking plates on them. These are some things I could look out for at the antique market if something is really inspiring me. You could use these in your art journals and your junk journals, stuff like that. I love seeing people's journals. So super fun stuff in here. So I just flip through and kind of show you. I just want to show you how amazing. Look at all the ribbons. Look at that. Yummy. Okay, I could have a ribbon button store, and I could sell the tar out of pretty ribbons and buttons and give you a million ideas of what you could do with those. I would totally enjoy that in my next life, maybe. But I just wanted you to see how amazing these books really are. And then you could hit their site up and add one here and there to your library. Because now, I've probably had these 8 or 10 months, probably a year, when these all hit that little scratch and dent thing. Look how beautiful this page is. For some reason, I'm drawn to that. But now I know how amazing they are, and now I need to go and look and see, is there another one that I can add to my library, because I love them and I would love to have a whole set of them. Okay, so Vintage Life, and then Stitch and Illo. I don't know what that means. What's an illo? Creative expression through thread and textiles. So again, this one appealed to me because of the textile art aspect. I need to look and see. I kind of go off and on getting their magazine. because the subjects are random, kind of like these books. They're random art subjects, art and craft, and the things that people create and vintage. There's a variety of things, subjects that they kind of each issue focuses on, and so I'm hit or miss on the magazines a lot of times, but the books, I want all of them. I want all of these books. I will love looking through all of them and enjoying them. Sewing on paper or like a piece of canvas, that's pretty cool. Huh. You just kind of see things that you're like, never thought of that before, or wonder how they did that, or ooh, I'd like to do that. So many good ideas. So this is a lot about needle crafting, sewing, embroidery kind of things. Lots of good stuff in here. Ooh, look at that. That's a bookbinding kind of thing. Super cool. A little more complicated than the books that I create, but you never know when you want to kind of step your game up and do something that's like insanely hard and amazing when you're done. So yeah, ooh, look at those. Look at those. I want that chair. Like, give me that chair and that cushion. That could be super cool in my art room. Just so many good ideas. I love this whole thing right here. I want to move right in and sit right there. Whoa, look at that owl. Ooh, look at that owl. Ooh, see, and then you can find stuff that maybe you didn't know this artist existed. Maybe you need to go check them out and get one of those. So that's super fun. Okay, that was Stitch and Illo. Alright, I think we have now taken a peek through all of these lovely encyclopedias of creativity, and I hope you enjoyed getting a peek inside of these and seeing if you might want some of these. These are all on the Uppercase magazine website, so I'll try to link that below the video. And I hope you enjoyed a peek through some of the ones that I have, so that you'll know how amazing every single one of the ones are. And I'll see you guys next time.